It was the middle of the Great Depression. New York City, early 1930s, a place where desperation was in the air and life was cheap. Michael Malloy was a familiar face in the Bronx, a homeless Irishman, unshaven, with a weathered coat and eyes that spoke of long, cold nights. He drifted between odd jobs and the occasional drink, surviving on scraps, always grateful for the kindness of strangers, or what he thought was kindness. One bitter winter day, Malloy's life took a strange turn. He found himself welcomed into a small speakeasy owned by a man named Tony Marino. There, he was greeted not with suspicion, but with warmth, a free drink placed in front of him. "On the house, Mike?" Marino smiled. But what Malloy didn't know was that Marino and a group of men, Francis Pasqua, Daniel Kreisberg, Joseph Murphy, and Hershey Green, had formed what they thought was a brilliant plan. They would take out multiple life insurance policies on Malloy. All they needed was his signature. The rest, they thought, would take care of itself. The plan was simple. Let Malloy drink himself to death. Alcohol was his weakness, and in those days, no one questioned a man who drank himself into the grave. For days, then weeks, Malloy came in, drank freely, and stumbled out into the cold. But something strange happened. Nothing. He didn't get sick. He didn't stop showing up. If anything, he seemed to grow stronger. Frustration turned to anger. They switched his drinks from whiskey to straight antifreeze. Malloy downed it in one gulp, smacked his lips, and asked for more. Next came turpentine. He drank that too. Then came horse liniment, and finally rat poison, all mixed into his drinks. Malloy simply kept returning, night after night, grinning, sometimes singing Irish folk songs as he drank. The conspirators grew desperate. They lured him in with food, sardines spoiled beyond recognition, the smell turning stomachs. Inside the fish, they hid shards of metal. Malloy chewed, swallowed, and came back the next day as if nothing had happened. Now furious, they decided to use the cold against him. One night, they poured water over his chest and face, then dragged him outside in sub-zero temperatures, leaving him to freeze. By morning, they were certain he was dead. But when they opened the speakeasy later that day, there he was, sitting in his usual seat, smiling, asking for a drink. The final act of their grim play came in the form of a taxicab. They got him drunk, dragged him into the street, and ran him over at 45 miles per hour. His body rolled across the pavement. They left him there, convinced it was over. A few days later, Michael Malloy walked back into the bar, his face bruised, his arm in a sling, but alive. By now, the so-called murder trust was panicking. Months had passed. Insurance premiums were piling up. Their easy money scheme had become a nightmare. Finally, in February 1933, after countless failed attempts, they got Malloy so drunk that he passed out. This time, they placed a gas hose into his mouth and ended his life. But greed is a dangerous companion. Their clumsy attempts had left a trail of witnesses, rumors, and police suspicion. Soon the whole plot unraveled. Marino, Pasqua, Kreisberg, and Murphy were arrested, tried, and executed in the electric chair. Michael Malloy's death was tragic, but his story lives on, a darkly absurd chapter in crime history. A man who seemed to have 9 lives, until fate and betrayal finally caught up with him. If stories like this fascinate you, hit like, subscribe, and follow for more unbelievable true tales from history.